Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to the Late Apex presented by myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside David Sampson. We are going to be covering everything that's been going on in the world of sim racing from the past 7 days or so, including the new Wreckfest 2 trailer and the announcement for their early access. Also, Motorsport Games releasing a preliminary financial report as well. We'll be going into some of the numbers, more stuff about Motorsport Games with KartKraft, maybe ending totally or maybe not. It's quite unclear, as well as a bunch of results for Apex Racing Team as well from PESC at the weekend. David, how are you this Thursday?
I am very good. Always like doing the podcast. There's lots to cover, and we're talking about Motorsport Games. It feels like we're back in our prime.
Yeah. This is this is back to normalcy.
Correct.
It's been a drought recently because they've actually been quite good. And even today, we're not really discussing anything that they've done wrong, apart from the KartKraft stuff, actually.
Correct.
But the financial report, we'll get into that a little bit later on. By the way, this episode is presented by the RACEDATA ARL Prototype Championship. Sign-ups are open for our GTP LMP2 series over on apexracingleague.com. It is Monday evenings that the races will be taking place, and it's usually a fantastic championship. We had a lot of drivers last season, maxed out the grid last season, so do check out apexracingleague.com if you're interested in taking part in a LMP2 or GTP championship. Let's talk about the headline first, shall we? I put Wreckfest 2 in the headline. Early access has been confirmed for March.
Well, this is always, it's scary words, you saying early access and talking about a driving game.
Yes.
But this is a big driving game.
I saw that the original Wreckfest was in early access for 4 years. One hopes that this will not be such a long wait.
I haven't watched the trailer. I'm looking forward to watching that. But it's what they bring to the table above what they've already had. Because if the premise is a fun Wreckfest game that is loved by millions of people, they already have that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we can see the trailer now. And people seem to be pretty impressed by this.
Do we know what the engine is, if it's Unreal or anything?
No, I don't believe it's Unreal. No, I think it's their own. It's a further development of their existing.
The ROMU engine, what they've already been based on.
Oof. I think even podcast listeners can get a vibe of what's going on.
Looks good.
And it's important actually for podcast listeners to know what's going on, because that's one of the big upgrades that they've talked about, as well as the damage, obviously, that they very much pride themselves on and very much take very seriously. The other big thing that I saw reported that they're going to be working on is their audio as well. So, yes, hopefully that was impressive for people. Other updates, custom liveries will be coming, as well as car modifications. They already had car modifications. You can add like spikes to the tires and stuff like that, but that's going to go even further. And then also online matchmaking with sorts of a rate. You're going to be given a rating basically of how good you are, and then put in splits basically, or put in servers at least, depending on what your rating is.
Yeah, I was just looking for price or when coming soon. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I mean, I loved the first one. So my point is, their biggest competition with this game is what they already have. People have already bought the game. They need to sell why this one, why you want to spend more on a game that is just for loading in with your friends and smashing cars up. Because we have that.
Sure.
So this is always the first one made sense to me, why it did well, why it's popular. It's still popular today. But yeah, how will the second one do? I mean, I'll get it. I've always liked these games. Me, I typically like it controller chilling though. I'm not
sure.
Not really into far chase.
I'm not probably going to use it downstairs.
No.
Yeah, I've dabbled in it a little bit before, and yeah, it's fun. And the fact that it is so popular, and the fact that you can get into an online race fairly easily, is a big positive.
Let me check the numbers actually. Let's have a look. Wreckfest, how it's been doing. I mean, I know lots of people that play this on a daily basis. Okay, Wreckfest charts. 440 odd people now. I mean, so look. Yeah, I mean it's there or there. It's not actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not higher.
But then Wreckfest is on consoles.
It is on console,
okay, yeah. So this is just the icing on the cake for them. Yeah, console numbers will always be bigger, but that's serviceable. But no, for sure, Christmas purchases, consoles always sell well. We just don't have those sort of numbers.
The last thing I saw added was split screen multiplayer. How do you feel about that? Because I think we've sort of got used to not having split screen
multiplayer. I was going to say the same
obviously,
thing.
10, 15 years ago when they started getting rid of it, it was very annoying, because it doesn't seem like that complex a feature. Maybe there is more complexity to it than what I think, but I didn't. It's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been gone too long. I mean, when it was split screen, it was one thing. When we got quad split screen, it was revolutionary, because we just started to get the era of those big TVs. But then, newer and newer consoles, especially, just started unannouncing it wouldn't be there.
Sure.
It's like, oh, here's the new Call of Duty. It's like, split screen? No. Like, whether it's Mario Kart, all these games, as they progress further, their feature just...
But Mario Kart still have it, right? I would have thought,
yes, Mario Kart 100% does
Switch
that.
and stuff are big into sort of those party game sort of stuff. So
I love the split screen feature, but online play did win.
Yeah.
You don't actually sit together on a sofa. You're in your own sofa and they're on their sofa. So I can understand why the feature dwindled. And I can imagine the optimization needed to split the game in half was a lot of work.
Sure. Because
they're probably trying to optimize it maximum FPS, and then splitting the screen, now you've got to run the game twice, all the optimizations to go through. I imagine it was a headache. But yeah, so excited for the game. I'm sure it's going to do great on console. Yeah, that's it. Their only competition is themselves.
Yes. Early access coming in March, so do keep an eye on that. Next, shall we talk about AC Evo?
Sure.
You're very excited about the fact that the Driver Academy has finally been added.
Well, I've done it. I'm glad for other people to experience it, because it was a lot of fun. I mean, Gran Turismo, the driving school thing on PC. So what should have been, I don't understand why they didn't want our money all those years ago. But yeah, the car customization, in-game economy, they're working on updates. I mean, obviously, their level of confidence matches mine, because they're calling this version 0.1.5. So they're not even saying this is 0.2 yet. So sure. I respect them for that, because had they said this is 0.2, I'd have been pretty upset, because we haven't come far enough. I was pretty upset with the last update. There was an update between the two we reported. It was a small update. And for me, the force feedback, it was dangerous. That's the best word to put it.
Okay.
dangerous. All of a sudden, it would just snap to the left.
Okay.
All the weirdest times. Like, so you'd pause the game. It's one of those games where you unpause it, everything comes back immediately, like ACC. The problem is I would mess with some settings, and as I'd unpause it, it would snap your wheel. Now, this wouldn't usually be a problem. I'm a strong guy, but I'm not with just my left hand, because the only way to unpause it is with your mouse, which is your right hand. So unpause, and then it would jolt.
And it's only turning to the left, did you say? Or
Yes.
did it depend what corner you were going through?
No, always to the left.
Always to the left, okay.
Getting in and out the car, unpausing, loading in, going back to the pits. All the small things would jolt the wheel. And in the end, I was like, do you know what?
I like my wrists.
I'm done. Yeah. I was getting very nervous of getting out the pits, especially without it jolting. So hopefully it's something they can fix, or I tried everything at my end. It's still... Now, I did managed to test, because last week we reported that it received triple screen optimizations and VR optimizations. So I fired them up on triples, because I'd been playing this on single because it was so bad. And I can report it is definitely better. Like, I was getting 90 FPS on triples on my own. Still not good, but that's almost double, because it was so bad. On average, about 50 FPS. Now I'm getting like 90. So it's it does look good. They've got a long way to go. I just don't... the hype versus the doing this in public, I always find the difficulty to balance the two. Like, yes, they got hype on release and they made a good amount of money, but now this bit where everything's broken in public,
Sure.
I don't know. I never know what's the best thing to do. I'm a traditionalist. I would have liked to have seen this game in another 8 months and they're like, it's done. What do you mean? Yeah, everything's there. What, every car? Yep. Everything's been tested. It works.
Yeah.
But we don't live in that world anymore.
No. How valuable do you think it is for them to get the feedback from the people in the early access? So you don't... I mean, yeah, all these elements that are broken, they would have found anyway.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, the feedback's people shouting, and it's not constructive criticism.
Sure. Yeah.
People are always like, this car doesn't drive like I'm used to it in this game. It's like, okay, well, okay. That's not how it drives in real life. And then the arguments, no, I don't think so.
Well, that is AC Evo, the early access out. Motorsport Games, we'll just talk about now. They've got a preliminary financial report for their past 12 months of earnings. The headline that Thomas Harrison Lord, who sometimes tunes into the podcast, used on Traction was Le Mans Ultimate surpasses 100,000 units sold. How do we feel about 100,000 units? I mean, that's solid. I mean, obviously they were up in sort of like, if I recall correctly, they were up in like 20,000 or so within the first sort of month or so of it being released. Obviously, 100,000 units sold, that doesn't include DLCs and stuff like that, and that's where they got a lot of their earnings.
I don't know how much the WEC license costs. It can't be cheap. So if it was a small studio that's done 100,000 game sales on a sim racing game, excellent. Motorsport Games, though, came into this differently, right? They bought in NASCAR, IndyCar, WEC, Studio 396. They bought everything. They burnt through money. I don't know if 100,000's good for them.
Sure.
I hope so, because I don't want to lose the game. But let's talk about the numbers. Because we're kind of hoping this would be now, we'll start to see a profit, right? They've let everything go.
Yeah, you'd hope so. So, yeah, again, quoting from Traction, despite these positive sales results, publisher Motorsport Games still lost money in 2024 based on the preliminary results. Net loss ranging from $2.5 million to $2.9 million for the fourth quarter of 2024, and from $2.6 million to $3 million for the year ended December 31st, 2024. So, of course, 2024, $2.6 million to $3 million lost.
That seems insane to me, right? That meeting he now goes into with the board of directors, we've sold everything, apart from WEC, for obvious reasons. They've let IndyCar go, NASCAR go, the Australian studios go. They don't support all their other games. They've put everything into this. They've done all the DLCs, GT3s, license, WEC license. I mean, things are good.
Yeah.
If you're losing $2 million, did that say in a quarter?
It's like so I think it includes the whole year.
Oh,
basically,
from
but
the
at
okay.
end of that quarter. Yeah.
I mean, £2 million. You've had your surge in sales, especially the GT3 sales, which obviously helped. Like the game surged in popularity, and it maintained its popularity with. I mean, we always bring up these numbers. Let's bring them up. Le Mans Ultimate definitely has survived its growing pains and done well.
One of the things they did say just before we look at that is that they were that apparently they have exceeded internal forecasts, is according to them.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're exceeding internal, so obviously this is the game release, this is the IRL 24, this is, I think, the first update, second update, and then the GT3s. We can see the GT3s have been super popular from keeping the users on board. Ignore the latest drop. I hate it does that because that's the current day. Yeah, so, I mean, things are on course. The game's doing well. It's solid. It's reliable. Lots of people are buying it, and their external forecasts are exceeded. Why are they losing £2 million? I don't know how. How I run businesses is slightly different.
How does it work with like the WEC license? Like, is there like a high initial cost, do you think, to purchase the license, or is it just like, all right, you pay us?
So you're asking me?
million?
I have no.
I mean, I didn't know if you knew any more.
I could make it up.
I don't know how. I guess it is just a set.
I know
fee
they
each
got
year, right?
I know they got was it 15-year license or 10-year? It was long, 10 or 15.
So yeah, I guess you don't necessarily have to pay that per year. So I don't know how that works in terms of paying it. Like, have they paid that already, or are they paying it now? I don't know. Because you're right, that must be one of their biggest expenses. Because, I mean, they've only got like 10 staff now. So that can't be costing them that much.
Yeah. Hello, Tegan chat. Hi, Terry. Hey, Logie. Hi, Iracing Aussie. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so, I mean, how I saw it is we did see big losses. I mean, huge losses. Big losses. They released studios. They released games. It looked like everything was going wrong, but they backed LMU. And then they were focused on the GT3s. Now things are starting to go well. The game's popular. The GT3s are all licensed. They're under no pressure of losing the WEC license. I'm just shocked that I thought this was going to be the turning point where they're like, there you go, we're right. Like 750,000 in profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because they can't, what's the phrase, rest on their laurels yet. They haven't made it yet. They've proved they can get this far. They've got driver swaps and liveries. So I say driver swaps, and obviously endurance racing, which is going to definitely be big for them. They can start hosting their own special events, virtual Le Mans, if they get Verstappen back. I mean, still #1 sim racing event on the planet was that event that went terribly, but it still was. I mean, it was awesome to watch. So we need to get that on board. But there is nothing after that, right? They've got their dailies, they've got their paid championship, they've got the GT3s. Once they've got virtual Le Mans, sure, they could bring ELMS or some other small series, but
that's really only going to be DLC content. It's not going to get new people involved, is it?
So let's see. We're rooting for them because it will be a sad day if we lost.
Yeah,
it really would. It really, really would, because they've done well. Yeah, so we'll see. We really don't know. We'll always report on these financial reports, but I mean, they've weathered worse, but I just don't see where the light is on all this.
Sure.
I mean, a couple of weeks ago reported that they wouldn't mind being bought. We reported that they...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Like, everything's fine, but there's a for sale sign behind me. Like, everything's fine.
If you're interested, we're just saying, like, we're not like, totally ruling out.
If you've got 20 million, then, it's all yours. Okay, so staying on Motorsport Games theme, they still own this, right? This abandonware. I know they released the studios.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they own the rights to the game, yeah. KartKraft, there was a Reddit post from someone a few days ago. When did you think KartKraft started? I think early access, to be fair.
Okay, but probably about 9 years ago?
Well, according to this, at least, it says 2008, which is crazy if it started back in 2008. But that's what this Reddit
Wow.
user said, at least, which I think is pretty crazy. But yeah, basically they were saying how the game basically wasn't working, that you couldn't connect to like the servers, and without connecting to the servers, like you couldn't play the game. So that has been addressed now, but it did look for a period like that was it for KartKraft. But it is back now. Apparently there are still issues for new users, and also there is a server issue which I think requires you to like go into a file to change a setting, otherwise that causes like frame losses and stuff like that.
Sorry, this can't be right. I've clicked on the wrong game. Wait, this can't be it. I've clicked on the last 6 years. It never exceeded 206 players.
No, no, it's never that popular. I don't think any kart game is that
I liked
popular.
this. I liked this. Wow. No wonder the Reddit post is just some dude. He's the only dude playing it. Yeah, I mean, I actually, ironically, another Motorsport Games game, but I actually preferred R Factor 2 karting. So before iRacing, I held like I lived in America, a neighborhood championship. Seriously, I just like...
Okay.
So we had it I had double doors coming into the sim room at the time, which was opposite. It didn't matter. It was downstairs. I had a glass door and I got this pen. I would write the lap times. It looked awesome, and we had 30, 40 names on it. My sister nearly missed her flight because she just didn't want to lose me. One of our lap times was so close that she risked missing her flight.
Wow.
Yep. But KartKraft was always fun. Wow, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I never really got into it. I mean, I did a lot of karting when I was younger, like sort of most weekends, and so when I tried Project Cars, and it was so far from feeling it. And I'm not saying like any of these are inaccurate or they're doing like a bad job or anything, but like I don't know. I feel like as someone who's done so much karting, and with karting being such a... Because fundamentally, karting is really boring. Like from the sim, because as well, I did like cadets, and these goes like 40 miles an hour or something. And when anyone who's done hiring karting or whatever, like rental karting, that's pretty exciting to go 40 miles an hour. In a sim, that's dull as anything.
Sure.
Like you need something which is more pacey. So I just always felt it was really far away from reality. So I never really got into it that much, but... the Motorsport Games CEO Stephen Hood confirmed that there would be no more updates, but it would still be alive. The project was all but abandoned when Motorsport Games picked up, he said. I don't envisage it being further developed in the near future, but we are working on making it operational again. Totally get the love for it. Sorry for the downtime. So KartKraft is not dead. One of the issues was that, like, with it being basically unplayable, it was still, like, purchasable as well, which is a bit dodgy.
Gotcha, yeah.
But it seems like it is still alive, which is...
Because we've talked about this before, but on the subject of karting, we almost had it in iRacing. We've seen the...
Yeah, we've seen the tyre. 2013, I think it was, that forum post was posted.
Yeah, so...
I think it'd be awful. I think Mazdas are so much better than karting as an introduction. Way easier to drive, way faster.
What, you wouldn't want to host a ARL karting league? 120 karts,
what,
11 wide, Summit Point.
Well, the slipstreaming would be cool.
Yep.
But
yeah, we've talked about this before. It's a shame because I don't know if many people know, but we even saw what the render would look like. Those early iRacing renders. We have the kart one, but it never came to be.
Do you think they tried it and thought, oh, this is a bit naff? And thought... No.
I imagine, to be honest, it was the realization of tracks. Because iRacing is all about the fully licensed life, right? Everything is very above board. It's a business model on track and car negotiations. And there's these guys running the karts. They own a Facebook page and a cell phone.
Sure, yeah.
They're like, I think we've got... I assume I own the license. Like, do you own the track? Well, we rent it off. I just don't think it's a business model iRacing can...
Sure, yeah.
And we're not racing Daytona. We're only going to be... You can't go karting anywhere but karting tracks. Yeah. Best place is mods and stuff for that. Unlicensed stuff.
SimRep are selling a large DDU.
Oh, this is insane. I found this 10 minutes before we came on the show. I wanted to start by trolling it, and then I started mocking it, and then I thought about buying it. I had a bit of a brain. So, obviously, I'm a big fan of Lovely Dash. So, seeing the full Lovely Dash up there on the screen, I mean, the price is really good.
Yeah, it's 299, 300
and
euros.
This, you wouldn't need any overlays. You just have your sim running in beautiful, untouched mode, and you've got your fuel calc, your deltas, your relative, your brake bias, your TCs, your ABS. Yeah. I mean, 8-point inch, 1920 resolution width, 480 high, full sim hub compatibility. It is big though. Like, there's no beating around the bush. This thing is monstrous. I thought it was worth mentioning. We don't mention DDUs on here because they're all just, the same thing essentially, but we've never seen anything like this. Let me bring up a picture.
There's a couple of people who actually used it on their own rigs. Don't know how good. So you can see a little bit on here. And yeah, that's how big it might be.
So, I mean, this is you want to plan ahead. I had this picture. I think this was from the show event. It was originally shown. Now, unfortunately, let's talk about the elephant in the room first of all. That is the 9,000 odd euro Cosworth wheel. But obviously,
released about a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
I feel like.
But it's big. It is, and they're selling these as well. The same company that's selling these, they're selling these, and these are big. I own these, 2 of them. They're not as big as that. I mean, I think I don't know. As I say, I started out by mocking it. I don't know. It might be good for throwing up a YouTube video on, and you could literally drive with the lap guide. The Apex lap guide here at the bottom while you're driving.
I mean, you could watch Game of Thrones whilst you're driving. I mean, you got a lot of options.
The 9K wheel. We've talked about this. It doesn't even have the Ford. I mean, it has Cosworth written below the LEDs like it does in IRL, but you are spending $7,000 on that word.
Yeah, like it's sort of weird because I think there have actually been a lot of wheels recently. I think particularly from like Mercedes. Mercedes released their F1 wheel, right? And that's like 1,500 quid or something, and that's like reasonable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like that Cosworth wheel is almost like at the end of the insanely expensive sim racing wheels with a brand on them, whereas now they're a lot better. There you go. 9,600 euros, including tax, to be fair.
Oh, good.
Don't want to be spending another 20%.
I mean, it is good. It's a very good looking wheel, but yeah. That's insane. Oh, no. Actually, it's coming back on the screen. That was without the quad shifters. Obviously, I want 4. Wait, you can get 6.
Oh, 6. What's the 6?
Like the Formula 1 one, you have up high. So you have the regular is the 2.
Yeah.
You have the drop ones, like your clutches.
Yeah.
The 6 is like the smaller ones up top.
What
like
are they used for?
They're almost like buttons, but they are. I say they're like F1 because F1 cars have 6, but
sure.
What people use them for, I have no idea. So yeah, if you're looking for a Christmas idea for me,
yeah,
I don't want 6, obviously, just the 4's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apex Racing Team. We'll talk about the results for Apex Racing Team over the last week or so. PESC Round 1 happened at Daytona. It was very entertaining. A lot of views as well, actually, I saw on the YouTube stream, 17,000. I think they stream it on Twitch as well, so probably even higher on there. So that's good numbers. And it was some good results for Apex Racing Team. Luke McCowan managed to get a P5 and a P3. Alejandro Sanchez got a P4 and a P4. Johan and Luke were further down. Johan, I think, had a tricky qualifying which was ultra close as well. It was really, really close. You sort of expect it at this level, but there's still usually like a team who finds a 10th when it comes to the setup, but actually really seemed like everyone was together. So yeah, Johan had an issue as well in race 2. Luca, I think, had a very bad qualifying and then basically spent the rest of the evening working his way back up through the order. So it wasn't great for them, but they still scored points. The race 2 final lap was exciting because Luke had a chance at the win.
Yeah,
How much of this were you able to catch?
I was pretty knackered after All Stars,
Of
but
course.
I watched Johan's stream, and I caught up with the broadcast. Yeah,
I was rooting for Elvis at the end here.
Same.
I thought it'd be pretty cool. He's done very well because I think this is his first season.
this is Luke Webster and Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What an ending, though.
And Cooper was very patient. I thought Luke might be able to get the pair of them.
Whoa.
And Cooper was very happy.
Yeah.
The closest of margins, unbelievable stuff at the end. 15 one-thousandths of a second.
15 one-thousandths of a second. But yeah, good race. Did you watch much?
I watched the end of both races.
Right, yeah.
So I didn't see maybe some of the earlier incidents that whittled people down. But once again, it'll be a season of finishing the top 8. That's what matters. Because yeah, the reverse grids are so powerful. How was your event? I didn't really watch too much of it, but I did. I saw you were doing well in race 1 though. Up in 5th in race 1.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit disappointed with. I'm always disappointed with my open qualifying. I don't know where my head goes. I start thinking of all the mind games and waiting, and I should just set a lap. I was probably the 3rd or 4th quickest in practice, maybe 3rd, and that felt good. It's an hour and a half long practice, so you really get to show your laps. Qualifying 12th.
Really? Okay, yeah.
But it is messy. You do have people playing
Sure.
games. They're not blocking you, but it's Daytona. If you get a draft, it's 2.5 tenths. If you don't, you're in. Even your best lap won't do it. But yeah, I just kept my head down. I knew my pace would be strong. End of lap 1, I was 6th, and then I overtook Quirk right at the line. Right at the
Okay,
line. So I
yeah.
finished 5th, which ironically, if you reverse the grid, I start 12th again for race
Sure.
2. So this one was tougher though because I had all the fast guys behind me, and I think I finished 7th for 8th. I'm really happy for a week 1. No big points, but I put points on the board, strong points on the board both races, and I know that's how you finish the season top 5. So
Sure.
at the moment, so keep doing that. It's Daytona, so you have to balance how much you work with the guy in front to how much you risk sending it and losing the draft. So it is one of the more complicated when people are battling like that and the skill ranges are so high. But I just need to get this open qualifying down. It's not something I'm super experienced with. I'm used to practicing and rocking up on my own and being focused on just my job. Open qualifying is something I definitely need to work on.
And now you got Mugello to drive, which it should be a pleasure. I really like it.
I know the track, but I need to learn it. I need
Yeah.
to learn the offline where people are heavy braking. I need to learn overtaking, defending lines. That I have no knowledge on.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to learn that at some point.
There was also the second round of VNLS. It is called VNLS, right? DNLS. Sorry.
DNLS, yeah.
I'm mixing VLN and DNLS when I said that before. The Digital Nürburgring Esports series, obviously. And
Verstappen was in it, right? I heard Verstappen.
I honestly am not sure. You're probably right. I feel like he's in everything right now. But we had a lot of teams, Apex Racing teams. So in GT3, we managed to get a 5th place for Seppinen and Salvatalens. Elias Seppinen and Salvatalens. Then it was 7th place for Gordy Much and Tom Ryer. 5th in Porsche Cup, we had Luke Keita and Luis Balicki. They finished in 5th in that one. And then in GT4, our best result overall was Peter Berryman and also Vasquez as well, finishing in 4th in GT4. So 4 cars, and they all got to the finish cleanly. well, at least in one piece. I'm sure there were tribulations on the way. There was nothing to do with us, but there was just a good fight on the last lap.
I love this event, DNLS. I had the opportunity to drive in it last year, but I actually turned it down because this is no walk in the park, this DNLS, is it?
No, it's very competitive.
And do you know who my teammate would have been?
Elias, right?
No, Parker.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm good. I don't want him to rock up, do qualifying, work really hard, and then I lose 16 seconds a lap.
This was for the amateur win in the Porsche Cup.
Oh, where's he going?
But unfortunately, there was some collision. This is on the last lap. Austrian sim racers had an issue. Disappointed by the amount of views on this, so only 606 views, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah,
so for those who don't know, DNLS has some special, unique rules regarding like competition.
Have they still? I think they may have dropped that though.
Oh, well, you still have the IRL driver requirement or not?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you gotta have one IRL driver who is below 8K,
7 or 8K.
So,
yeah,
and then one esports driver.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised when I was asked, because I am neither of that. Not esports. I'm not a IRL driver, and I am below the requirement.
But yeah, the next round I think is in a couple of weeks. Do check out the VCO esports YouTube channel. I think that's why maybe a few people don't watch it, because obviously the big ones like iRacing and RaceSport cover a lot of them as well. But yeah, VCO esports is the place to go.
I didn't actually know VCO did stream their own events. I know VCO are massive in organising all of the...
Yeah, what other ones do they do? Oh, they did the IndyCar Challenge. I'm not sure which one that was. That wasn't the World Championship. That was
the other one. Yeah, there was two, right?
Yeah,
almost
still had a decent prize pool, but
yep,
wasn't as big as the other one. So yeah, it's worth checking that channel out if you are a fan of esports. PECC, we're going to Thruxton.
I'm gonna have to watch your race intently, because then we're off to Thruxton.
It's gonna be boring. I can't reveal too much of what has been discussed, because obviously I'm an integral part of the team. Like, a lot of people are like, Sam, what do I do? What do I do? Help me, Sam. And I'm like, all right. And I
have you practiced?
Not this week, but I did do a couple of hours. I've probably done about 3 hours of driving, I reckon, around the track a couple of weeks ago. So it's a fun circuit to drive. Some unusual racing lines. They don't really make sense. The racing lines of, you turn into a corner from the far side of the track, and then you hit the apex, and then you go to the other side of the track. That doesn't happen with Thruxton. Thruxton, because it's all sort of paved and banked weirdly, a lot of the corners you go in narrowly into the apex, and then sort of maybe not even use the whole space on the outside. Some of the off tracks are very unusual. The final chicane, you can cut it so much that you almost cut. It feels like you're not even taking the corner, because you're just straight lining the chicane basically. But because the off track is so lenient, you sort of get away with it. So it's an unusual circuit. It's one that not everyone, well, no one really is totally familiar with. And so there'll be some mistakes. It will be exceptionally tricky to overtake, though. The dirty air is going to be horrendous. I know that's not super prominent in the Porsche Cups, but what little of it there is, it is going to be very tricky to follow. So qualifying will be really important, and whoever gets the reverse grid pole might be in for a race win. There will not be many overtakes.
That might be the Thruxton call for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Just make sure I focus on coming last in the first race.
Do you know what car you're in? You must be in the P Cup, right? It's a small circuit. You can't be driving GTPs around.
As long as you don't share my screen, I can try and check.
Sure.
Let's have a look. I haven't looked, to be honest. I've only looked.
But yeah, of course, for Apex Racing Team, we'll have Luke, who's currently second place in the championship, running in that one, as well as Peter Berryman and Leo Gariboli. Both of which have had some pretty decent results, particularly Leo's had a good season.
Cup car, yes.
It is Cup car, yeah, that makes sense.
So Mugello GT3, back to Spa in GTP.
That's good.
Bam. Saxon Ring in a cup car. I don't know the track. And then Thruxton in a cup car. Fuji in GT3, which I've done a lot of laps on. And then Le Mans in the GTP. So it is just the outliners for me are Magello, Saxon Ring, and Thruxton.
Yeah.
But like, if Thruxton's in a P Cup, then yeah, I'll just steal your telemetry. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. In Apex Racing TV, well, actually, another shout out to Apex Racing League because, yeah, on Monday we did announce the RACEDATA AI ARL Prototype Championship, GTP and LMP2 Championship. If you want to race in that, you can do. We've got £1,000 of prize money for this season, which is pretty cool. Sign up at apexracingleague.com. On Apex Racing TV, there was some very good... The last couple of rounds of ARA Porsche Cup have been phenomenally good. It's a bumper grid, and this was the battle for the win.
Oh, Hammer's back.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And so Hammer and Zavadil were battling with one another, and then we got the Greek driver, Despotakis.
I love
Went
P Cup Imola. Oh, my.
Battling for the lead. They almost make contact. I think it's Despotakis.
And Despotakis managed to go from third to first.
Wow.
In that moment.
Who's VC forward? Which one of those is now driving for?
The Zavadil.
Ah, okay.
He lost in the pit stop.
So yeah, it was a really, the last couple of rounds, like I said, have been absolutely terrific. That was the hour-long race. And strategy was good. Zavadil overshot his pit stall, which put him down from first to second. Hammer went from third to first because he saved fuel, but then he lost it again in the instant that you just saw. So yeah, really, really good fun. Got a couple of other crashes as well. This was, I've labelled this an ugly crash.
So this is GT4s at Motorsport. Oh my god.
And Labano says no, not to the left.
Oh no.
Oh, Hartley out.
So the second car looked like he just copied the first car's line and tracked out a bit too far, and it killed them both.
Common mistake at Motorsport. We've got a nice overtake. This is a pretty crazy overtake, but it's a good one.
Let's see if he can stick with Violet. Remember, Violet had his issues earlier with the contact.
Whoa!
Wait!
Wait!
Wow!
Was that by accident? It almost looked like they got a weird curb contact and speared across the track.
Yeah,
I wonder if they lost it.
Split the GT4s. I think it was fully deliberate. The GT4s sort of taking a weird line. And here's the chopper.
This time it's Carlisle using the pick, but not enough there.
No, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Not in iRacing, sir. Not with this.
You don't like that?
Not in iRacing, no. Not in iRacing. No, that's stupid.
Jonathan, thanks, Jonathan, for recommending that clip to us in the Discord.
Because I mean, 99 times out of 100, that is massive netcode explosion, right? That amount of change in direction with that much room left.
Oh yeah. Yeah, good that we're using the US servers for those US drivers. The last one was tragic. It was a very action-packed race, actually, this at Motorsport. 3 teammates, Orion Racing in the top 3, and then you got a 4th back here. We come through turn 3.
Look at the accordion going on. This is what I talk about. There's your
Oh no. Oh no.
And the 3 teammates basically take each other out.
Oh no.
And Barrios goes into the lead.
Oh no. You had one teammate looking on his orange, the other teammate, and then neither of them noticed the guy in front lose it.
Yeah.
Yikes. Tricky track. I mean, it's a beautiful track, is Motorsport, but it's demanding. It really is demanding, especially in like a GT4.
I have finished rendering the ARTV compilation. There was no compilation from like the best overtakes and crashes and whatever. There was no video for December because not much happened in December. There was a lot of races missed, obviously, because of the festive period. But we've got 2 months worth of content into this video, so it should be released once we get a thumbnail sorted, probably early next week. So you keep tuned on the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel for that one. It is a good one. We feature a lot. There's a lot of us. We've done a lot of wet races. I say that, we've done 2 wet races, but half the clips are just from those 2 races because they were very action-packed. between the Raw or
We don't seem to be covering Apex Racing's P2 yesterday in the quiz. Like, it's not even here.
Oh, well, I thought we were doing another podcast, like a debrief.
No, the
quiz
sponsor
debrief.
fell through.
Oh dear. Yeah, we did our bit. It was, well, yeah, we did really well. We did
P2
really well.
in a team
P2.
quiz.
Yeah, in a team quiz.
We carried.
Well, yeah, when it came to Terminator films,
Yeah.
without us, I don't think they would have got anything. But we got a solid 4 out of 5 Terminator sequels.
Yeah.
So we didn't do too bad.
All right. Excellent. I think that is everything. Lots of motorsport games, things. AC Evo, obviously, with the update. Wreckfest 2 coming out, which will be huge on consoles if they can persuade people to not play the first one. Like, I think the first one does like, it's a difficult sell for me. It's a fun throwaway game that you're always going to pick up because it's fun.
I feel like the community, I guess, I think the community will be willing to support them, though. It's almost like it's not like a reluctant purchase. I think people will be like, well, you know what, I paid 30 quid for this 5 years ago. I'm willing to give them my money again, sort of. So in that sense, it's good. But then, obviously, yeah, even after they have bought the new game, you still got to convince them to stay on it. So
yes, indeed.
we will see if that happens. But that will be everything from us for now. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you back in 7 days' time. See you then.